class. My story today is called Bubba the Cowboy Prince. It's a fractured Texas tale by Helen Ketteman. Bubba the Cowboy Prince by Helen Ketteman, illustrated by James Warhola. Oh, you're probably noticing Miss Perry's pet horse, Buttercup, jumped in the screen. This is the wicked stepdaddy, one of the characters. Here's Bubba, Dwayne, and their brother Milton. That is Miss Lurleen. Once, a strapping young feller named Bubba lived on a ranch with his wicked stepdaddy and his hateful and lazy stepbrothers, Dwayne and Milton. Bubba's stepdaddy spoiled Dwayne and Milton to no end, but Bubba worked from sunup to sundown, doing the chores of 3 ranch hands. Bubba never complained, though. He loved ranching. Dwayne and Milton spent their days sitting on horseback, bossing Bubba around. "Get them doggies along there, Bubba," ordered Dwayne. "Yeah, and watch out for them cow patties," added Milton. "You know how our daddy hates for you to track up the house." Boy, they're not being very nice to Bubba, are they? Now, Miss Lurleen, who lived down the road a piece, was the purtiest and richest gal in the county. She owned the biggest spread west of the Brazos, and she loved ranching too. But it was lonesome work, and after a while, she decided it was time for some companionship. "I aim to find myself a feller," she said, "one who loves ranching as much as I do. And it wouldn't hurt if he was cute as a cow's ear either." Miss Lurleen decided to throw a ball. She sent invitations to all the ranchers in Texas. A ball is like a big party, a big dance. Soon the day of the ball arrived. Milton and Dwayne spent all day getting gussied up in their finest studs. Bubba about ran himself ragged, waiting on them. "Bubba," shouted Dwayne, "fetch my bolo tie." "Bubba," shouted Milton, "get my boots polished." "Bubba," shouted his wicked stepdaddy, "brush them horses and wash that wagon." Boy, he is really working hard, isn't he? Look at him here. They're not doing anything except bossing Bubba around. By the time Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy were ready to go, Bubba was exhausted. Still, as they climbed into the wagon, Bubba asked, "Can't you wait for me to get ready? I want to dance with Miss Lurleen too." Dwayne and Milton and their wicked daddy hooted and hollered. "Why, you're sorrier than a steer in a stockyard," said Dwayne. "Can you imagine Miss Lurleen dancing with the likes of you?" said Milton. "Miss Lurleen wouldn't even wipe the dirt clods off her boots with that raggedy shirt of yours. And you smell more like the cattle than the cattle do." Bubba took a look at himself. It was true. He didn't have a decent shirt to wear. His boots were downright disgraceful, and he did smell a bit rough. Milton and Dwayne were right. Miss Lurleen wouldn't dance with the likes of him. Bubba hung his head. He felt lower than a rattlesnake in a gully. Milton and Dwayne and their wicked daddy went on off to the ball. Bubba mounted his horse and headed for the pasture to check on the herd. The sky was getting darker than a black bull at midnight, and it looked like a Texas thunderstorm was brewing. Bubba had just arrived at the cow pasture when a bolt of lightning struck, knocking him off of his horse. Bubba was stunned for a moment, but when he picked himself up, he heard a voice. "Go to the ball, Bubba," said the voice. Bubba looked around. No one was there except him and the cows. Now Bubba figured he'd bonked the bejeebers out of his bean, 'cause the voice was coming from a cow. She chewed her cud for a moment and then said, "I'm your fairy god cow, and I can help you go to the ball." Bubba sat up, rubbing his head. "Well, I'd like to go, Miss God Cow, but shoot, I don't have a thing to wear." The fairy god cow swished her tail, and Bubba's raggedy clothes changed into the handsomest cowboy duds he'd ever laid his eyes on. His jeans were crisp, his boots were shining, his shirt was dazzling, and his Stetson was whiter than a new salt lick. "Why, I look downright purty," said Bubba. A Stetson is a kind of a hat, and he's got a white Stetson on his head. The fairy god cow swished her tail again, and a nearby steer turned into the most beautiful white stallion Bubba had ever seen. "Now you go on off to the ball, Bubba, and have a good time dancing with Miss Lurleen. But you'd best be home by midnight." "Yahoo!" shouted Bubba as he jumped on the white horse and galloped off to the ball. When Bubba arrived, the hoedown was in full swing, but every time Miss Lurleen finished a dance, she yawned. "There goes another $10 Stetson on a 5-cent head," she complained. "Where are all the real cowboys?" By the time it was Bubba's turn to dance with Miss Lurleen, it was almost midnight. As soon as she saw Bubba, Miss Lurleen's eyes lit up. "Why, you're as cute as a cow's ear," she said. Bubba blushed and then took Miss Lurleen in his arms and started dancing. Dwayne and Milton turned purple with jealousy. "Who's that dude?" said Dwayne. "I don't recollect seeing him before, but he looks a mite familiar," said Milton. "Do something," said their wicked daddy. "That cowboy is winning Miss Lurleen's heart." As it turned out, Milton and Dwayne didn't have to do a thing because Bubba and Miss Lurleen were in the middle of a do-si-doing when the clock struck midnight. Suddenly, Bubba's fine duds turned into the dirty rags he usually wore around the ranch. He looked sorry, and he smelled worse. "What is that awful smell?" asked Milton. "Why, it's Bubba!" shouted Dwayne. Bubba turned 14 shades of red, apologized to Miss Lurleen, and ran out of the room. "Wait!" she yelled, chasing after him. But Bubba didn't wait. He jumped on his cow and lumbered off into the night. In the ruckus, he lost one of his dirty cowboy boots. Miss Lurleen clasped it in her arms. "This is the boot of a real cowboy and the man I want to marry, and I aim to find him." Miss Lurleen went back inside, and though she asked everybody at the ball, nobody knew who the mysterious cowboy was. Nobody except Dwayne, Milton, and their wicked stepdaddy, that is. But they weren't talking. The next day, Miss Lurleen went from ranch to ranch looking for the cowboy who owned the boot. When she came to Dwayne and Milton's ranch, both brothers tried the boot on, but it didn't fit. Miss Lurleen had just climbed on her horse to leave when Bubba rode up. He was dirty and sweaty and smelly from working with the cows, and he was only wearing one boot. Miss Lurleen jumped off her horse and ran over to Bubba. "Try this on," she cried. Bubba took his dirty old boot and pulled it on. "Much obliged, ma'am," he said, blushing. It fit perfectly. "You're my prince in cowboy boots," shouted Miss Lurleen. "I'd recognize that smell anywhere. Marry me, cowboy, and help me work my ranch." Dwayne and Milton and their wicked stepdaddy threw chicken fits. But Bubba just smiled, and he and Miss Lurleen rode off into the sunset. They lived happily ever after, roping and cowpoking and getting them doggies along. That was a great story. This is the perfect story to do a writing on. So if you haven't done it yet this week, try doing it on this story. I would like you to write 2 complete sentences. Tell me something that happened in the story. It could be your favorite part. Whatever you can remember from the story, and make sure to include the characters' names, what happened, tell me how it made you feel. If you thought it was funny, you can tell me what happened next, but I'd like 2 sentences. Okay? Do your best job. Remember, start with an uppercase, finger space, end it with a period. Okay, take care. Hi, class. I decided that I wanted to do a writing on the story that Mrs. Mayfield read, Bubba the Cowboy Prince. And I was going to write about something that happened in the story. And this week, I want you guys to focus on characters and using characters' names inside of your writing. So think about the characters in Bubba the Cowboy Prince. There was Bubba, there was his Dwayne and Milton, his stepbrothers, there was the wicked stepdaddy, there was the fairy god cow, Ms. Lurleen. Ms. Lurleen, I think, is going to be the character that I write about today. Okay, that's the one I'm choosing. You get to pick whoever you want that was in the story. And my first sentence is going to be, Ms. Lurleen had a ball. Okay, remember a ball is a kind of a dance. So when you start your sentence, remember to start with an uppercase letter. And the word is a Ms. So let's see, uppercase M is Miss. Okay, new word, so finger space, Lurleen. Because it's a name, I'm going to uppercase it. Lean. Ms. Lurleen, new word, had. And had is one of your words. If you don't know where had is in your sight words, stretch it out. Had. Okay? Had. Miss Lurleen had a ball. Ball. Miss Lurleen had a ball. That's my first sentence. Okay. She danced with Bubba. Ooh, now I've got another character. She danced with Bubba. So she. Ooh, that's one of your words too. Shh. I have to start with an uppercase letter because it's a new sentence. Shh. E. She. New word, danced. She danced, new word, with, that's another one of your words, stretch it out, if. Okay, here I go, if. Okay, she danced with Bubba. Okay, Bubba's a name, so I'm gonna have to uppercase it. Ooh, that's umbrella bird. There's another B. Ooh, another Okay, she danced with Bubba. End it with a period. And I know what happened. He lost his boot. Remember? Okay, so I'm gonna write, he lost his boot. New sentence. I could say Bubba lost his boot, but I'm going to say he, new word, lost, stretch out lost. Okay, he lost his, Ooh, I'm out of room. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to flip it over to the back, and I'll just start right up at the top. And the word is boot. Boot. Okay. You're right, 2 O's. Boot. He lost his boot. End it with a period. Okay, let's see. I think I'm ready to be ending this. Let's see. What did Miss Lurleen do? Miss Lurleen gave it back to him. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. Miss Lurleen. Ooh, and I already wrote Miss Lurleen, so I could copy it or I could just sound it out again. Okay, start with the uppercase letter. M is Lurleen. Miss Lurleen gave. Gave. Okay, gave. And I know that there's a quiet E at the end, because the E is telling his pal, the vowel, to say his name. Now it says gave. Miss Lurleen gave it. That's one of your words. Back. Back is another one of your words. Back. And I know that it also has a K. Miss Lurleen gave it back to him. Him is one of your words. So now I've told you about what I remember happening in the story, and I've used characters' names. Ms. Lurleen had a ball. She danced with Bubba. He lost his boot. Ms. Lurleen gave it back to him. Okay, I could say, you know what? I think I am going to write one more sentence. They lived happily ever after. I think they were in love. They start with the uppercase the. Ooh, that's the T and the H. Ooh, they is one of your new words too. They lived lived happily. Happy is one of your words. Happily ever. Happily ever. And after is one of your words too. Sound it out. Oh, it has the ER at the end. End it with a period. Now I finished all of my writing. I ended it with a period, and now I'm ready for my picture. And I'm gonna have, I think I'm gonna draw Miss Lurleen and Bubba at the dance, and he's got one boot that's off. Okay? All right, you guys do your best job and pick out one of the characters that you remember in the story and what happened. I'd like you guys to at least give me 2 sentences. If you can do 3 or 4 or 5, go for it.